Good morning, gardeners, and welcome to Wednesday, May 10th. Don't worry, this show has nothing to do with actual gardening, so don't run away if you're like me and can't grow green things. I'm speaking of gardening metaphorically. We're planting the seeds for a better day. We're starting our day by getting in the right mindset to cultivate a better life for ourselves, better communities, and a better world. Today is World Lupus Day. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that affects the immune system. Usually, the immune system produces antibodies that protect the body from invaders, but lupus causes the body to secrete autoantibodies to attack and destroy healthy tissue. These autoantibodies cause inflammation, pain, and damage in various parts of the body. This international observance was established to spread awareness of the possibility that seemingly unrelated symptoms can actually be signs of this single chronic disease. So, if you have been sticking with me every morning for a while now, you may have noticed that I did not release an episode yesterday. And that is because we had a little medical emergency at my home yesterday. My son had a pretty bad asthma attack, and we went ahead and brought him to the ER. And if you've ever gone to the ER, I'm sure that you've experienced, at least in the United States, this is certainly common. There's an uncertainty about whether it is serious enough to go to the ER. But when you're in a situation when you need medical attention soon, at least in the States, this is true, that you almost never can just get a regular doctor's visit immediately. There are urgent cares that you can go to, and if we were actually in the States, we would have gone there, but we are not in the United States. We are in Europe right now, so the hospital was basically our only option to get help immediately. And yeah, everything is fine. He's breathing perfectly well again. But yeah, it was really scary and quite a disruption to my normally very routine schedule, and it was definitely a hectic day. So if you can probably tell I'm a little bit off right now. Also, we found out that the reason that he had such a bad asthma attack was that he has come down with COVID-19. So I may also be fighting that off at the moment, but so far I don't have any symptoms. If I have any symptom at all, it's just feeling a little bit more tired than usual. But I don't know, if you've stuck with me for a while, you've probably heard me say that I'm tired multiple times. It seems like I'm always tired in the morning. So far, no symptoms and everything is fine. But yeah, because of this, medical emergency, I did skip Good Morning Gardeners yesterday. And that leads me into our feel-good moment for the day, which is that taking a day off is really no big deal, especially if it is only one day off. If you've read Atomic Habits, you know that James Clear has covered this topic very thoroughly, and he covers the issue far better than I can here. But for those of you who haven't read Atomic Habits, or if you need a refresher, the useful tip in taking a day off is that you should just try not to take more than one day off. Unfortunately, I don't have my copy of Atomic Habits right now because it's out on loan, but James Clear talks about creating a chain of habits and creating this mentality of don't break the chain, which is essentially just trying to do whatever you can day after day to continue doing your habit, or week after week, depending on the frequency of the habit, to, not break the chain. It's similar to No Days Off, but it's less toxic. And also he does make it very clear that it's totally fine to take a day off. life happens, unforeseeable circumstances come up. But if life does happen and you have to take time off to address something important, just try not to take more than one day off. Get right back in the saddle as soon as you possibly can. 1 day off is fine, but 2 days off is a red flag. 3 days off, of course, is more serious. Like I said, life happens, and it may be that you have to take even a whole week or a whole month off. But whenever that happens, just try to maintain this mentality of getting back in the saddle as soon as possible. Focus on getting right back into the habit of whatever your habit is as soon as possible. All right, so I love that thought because for me as a perfectionist, it really helps me maintain more realistic standards for myself. Yesterday I could have very easily and in the past might have, tried to come back up here like in the evening after, we got home and record a morning episode. But honestly, I think it was better that I didn't try to do that. I was able to be present with my son. I was able to get, higher priority, more pressing things done without having to rush them too much or feeling too stressed. And ultimately, if I had recorded an episode yesterday, it probably wouldn't have been that good. Not that any of them are that good. I mean, I'm not making assumptions, but definitely, overall, everything suffers when you push yourself too hard. So to me, this tip of just try not to take 2 days off is a really good guideline for finding that balance between pushing yourself, but also giving yourself grace. All right, so for our learning moment today, I am not going to read to you from Atomic Habits, even though I would normally like to do that. But actually, I think this is a good thing because you can read Atomic Habits and almost everybody has at this point, I think. And if you haven't, I highly recommend it. You might have already read this book as well. But I wanted to read a passage to you from this book about gratitude. Now, while I do think that the idea of not taking 2 days off is a really helpful tip, I think that the power of gratitude is an even more impactful topic or idea. So I am going to read a passage from You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero today. If you haven't read this book, you may be living under a rock, so you probably don't know that it's about manifesting your best life. It's a little woo-woo for my taste, but I think it's an incredibly helpful book, and I have read it probably 4 or 5 times now because I do find it so helpful, and it is short and sweet. So, the topic is gratitude. Now, think about how it feels when you get to really thank someone for doing something for you. You feel great for receiving whatever it is you received and for sending thanks to them, and they feel great for giving you whatever they gave you and for being appreciated, which makes you feel great again, which makes them feel great again. You could basically spend the rest of your lives passing thank you notes back and forth, and because it makes you feel good to be in such a state of gratitude, it puts you at a very high frequency and connects you to source energy, which puts you in a more powerful state to manifest more good feeling things and experiences in your life. Conversely, when you show up disappointed or angry or guilty or oblivious instead of being grateful, you are at a lower frequency and thereby less connected to source energy and in a less powerful state to manifest good feeling things and experiences into your life. So that's all fabulous and great, but where the whole gratitude thing gets really cool is right here. There are lots of ways to feel good and raise your frequency and get closer to source energy. But with gratitude, you're actually expending positive energy by sending out thanks, which makes positive energy reflect back to you. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This makes the manifesting process even more powerful. It's like the difference between seeing someone falling apart laughing and seeing them falling apart laughing at something you said. The first usually makes you feel as good and laugh just as hard as they do, which raises your frequency. But with the second situation, you're not just meeting them at a high frequency, you are exchanging energy at a high frequency. Their laughter is like their way of thanking you for saying something hilarious, and it gives off an even more powerful zing or stronger connection. The more consistently you stay in gratitude and stay focused on that which is good, the stronger your connection to source energy is, and the more quickly and effortlessly you'll be able to manifest that which is unseen in your reality. This is the almighty power of gratitude. But wait, there's more. Gratitude also strengthens your faith. Faith is having the audacity to believe in the not yet seen. Faith is the muscle you use when you decide to blast outside of your comfort zone and transform your life into something that's practically unrecognizable to you in your present reality. Faith smothers your fear of the unknown. Faith allows you to take risks. Faith is the stuff of leap and the net will appear. Faith is your best buddy when you are scared shitless. So, for today's focus moment, I am going to offer you an idea that I don't think I came up with on my own, but I was unable to locate my exact source for this idea this morning. It is very similar to what I just read in You Are a Badass, but the idea is this: respond to fear with gratitude. It's almost impossible to feel afraid and grateful at the same time. And even if you can manage that, the benefit you receive from feeling grateful will greatly offset the negative effects of feeling afraid. Every time my son has an asthma attack, it's scary. It's really easy to let my brain spiral into a worst case scenario. And I'm not saying that I was able to totally ward off these horrible thoughts yesterday, but I can tell you that focusing on how grateful I was for our access to a good medical facility and quality medical care really helped. Every time I encountered a nurse or a doctor, I just thought, wow, these people might be saving my son's life. And I said thank you to each of them again and again. I probably said it so often that they got sick of hearing it. But even though I was saying thank you as a true expression of my real gratitude, I later realized that I received a personal benefit from saying it. I felt less afraid. The gratitude worked to crowd out the negative thoughts. So, hopefully you are not in such a scary situation as I was yesterday anytime soon, but our minds can conjure up fear in almost any situation. Worrying about the future, social anxiety, or even just feeling stressed out because you're running late. These are all manifestations of fear. So the next time you struggle with something like this, try focusing instead on something you're grateful for. I'm sure you've heard this before, but we all have something to be grateful for, even if it's just the shining sun, breathing the fresh air, or being alive. So if you're not experiencing any fear-type thoughts right now, the exercise is simply to come up with something that you can always be grateful for. Somebody in your life, something in your life, something that you enjoy doing, or even just, your freedom of movement. If you are grateful to be able to walk or run or speak, something that really connects with you, that you really love doing, whether that's because, there was a threat that you might lose it at some point, or just because it's something that you just especially love or enjoy. Come up with one thing that you feel like you can always be grateful for. For me, obviously, it's my son. I can always be grateful for his happiness and health. And once you have that ready, if you have it planned in your mind that, okay, the next time I'm experiencing a fear type thought, or the next time I'm feeling anxious or afraid, I will focus instead on my gratitude for this amazing thing, you're going to be more likely to do it because you're prepared for it. Now, if you are in a low-key state of anxiety right now, obviously you can focus on this amazing thing as well and focus on your gratitude for it right now. But even better might be if you can find something about your specific situation that you currently feel anxious about to feel grateful for. So in my example, I was at the hospital yesterday and I found something related to my fear, which was, the reason I was at the hospital. And that was being grateful for the medical facilities and the medical professionals. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I hope you find that tip helpful because it really has helped me. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day and I will speak with you again tomorrow.